Madonna, and let's talk about Tay Tay, or I like to call it Tayonce. Because she wants to be Beyonce so bad. But anyway, so Taylor Swift could soon sit alongside the Queen of Pop Madonna as the female artist with the most number one albums in the UK, following the release of her divisive 11th album, and yes, emphasis on divisive, The Tortured Poets Department. The record which shouts out queer boy genius member Lucy Dacus, I think that's how you say her last name, and rumored bisexual actress Clara Bow, smashed streaming records over the weekend. Now, following its release on Friday, the 19th of April, The Tortured Poets Department became the first album to receive more than 200 million streams on Spotify in one day. It beat Swift's last album, 2022 Midnights, which previously held the record for most streamed albums on Spotify in a single day with 185 million streams. Now, I heard a lot of people were upset over the album because, first of all, she released a standard version of the album, and then hours later, she decided, oh, I'm doing like this anthology thing where I'm going to release 30 tracks. And I heard that there were some people that were overwhelmed by the amount, that they felt like they were duped because it's like, oh, wait a minute. So I bought like the physical CD because people are actually buying physical copies of stuff, like with vinyl and stuff. And so she did that same shit, I believe, with her Midnight's album. Is that, oh, I'm gonna try to find a way to game the system. And that's one of the things that I notice, like Robert and I always have conversations about, where a lot of times a lot of these artists are gaming the system, and they can get away with it in the United States. But I believe that if you go overseas, so like the UK and all those places, you can't pull them same stunts that they're pulling over here in the United States. And a lot of times y'all over here trying to game the system and play these stunts so that way you can get all your songs to go stream simultaneously when they're listening to it on Spotify, Apple Music, or whatever the case is. I also, even though Robert and I also had this conversation, and I've heard multiple people say this, and I'm like, what, you honest, because he is a, I don't know if I can call you a Swiftie, but I know he loves Taylor Swift. I told you I have friends that are Swifties, and I also got friends that are beehives and barbs. I do have barb friends too. See, I can have a difference of opinion with people and still remain cordial and friendly. People need to learn that you can do that, and it's okay that you can have difference of opinions. It's okay to like somebody or not like somebody, but still y'all can have stuff in common and be friends. Now, would I have a friend? Would I be friends with somebody that's a Trump supporter? I don't know. I don't think I have any. That is. I'd have to have that. I'd have to really sit down and have those conversations with somebody to really know. But I was like, no, I think that's going a little too far. But for the most part, when it comes to music and stuff, it's like, yeah, but I'm not a stan of anybody. I can't be, like, especially when you've been in the industry, in and out of the industry, you know things. It's like I cannot be a stand for a celebrity, because when you know the tea and you know how shit works behind the scenes, it's hard to do that. But anyway, so I have to say I don't like that. But also what I was trying to get at, because Robert and I had this conversation, when it comes to um gaming the system and all that other stuff. I've also heard some people say that this is not her best body of work, and that maybe it's time for her to part ways with Jack Antonoff and the other guy that she works with. I forgot his name. But Jack Antonoff is the most famous one that we all know because he's worked with so many other people. And at one point, they said that she was even trying to hijack Lana Del Rey's style. I was hearing that over the weekend, which is why she's been trotting around Lana Del Rey everywhere. Even when she was at the Grammys, there's other places like, no, why are you doing that? Like, let Lana do what Lana does. And to me, it has always seemed like Taylor Swift is someone who has not found her own situation and has figured out how to make something work for her. She's busy trying to hijack other people's style, because she tried to do it with Robin. She tried to do all these other people that comes out. Even at one point, it was like her sonically, her music was trying to sound like Tegan and Sarah, like that whole vibe and all this. It's like, stop taking from the indie artists and trying to do what they do, and just do you. Also, I know a lot of people were upset over her airing out Matt Healy's dirty laundry for the 1975 and spilling tea about his drug abuse and all that other stuff. It's like, but wait a minute, is that your business to tell? Like, I don't feel like someone of her stature should be out here airing people's dirty laundry like that. Because here's the thing, and then he's getting abuse from the Swifties online. over things that she's putting in her songs. Why are y'all jumping into that? Like, I don't understand fans when y'all listen to a song and you think, oh yeah, I'm gonna just tweet and write all these little mean, harassing things about a celebrity. But let them do that shit to her. And then all of a sudden, they're the scum of the earth and they're disgusting. But it's okay for her to sit and get in relationships with people just to write songs about them and just spill all their dirty laundry. Like, I don't like that. Like, don't get me wrong. It's been a tale as old as time that there are people that take things that go on in their life and they use that as fuel or inspiration to create whatever art they need to create and exercise that. Was she even in a relationship with Matt Healy all that long? I feel like they was only in a relationship for 5 minutes. How you write a whole album about him? But then yet other guy, what's his name? Alwyn. I forget his first name, or if that is his first name. But she was in a whole 6-year relationship with him. So I don't understand that. But it's just like, I get that, some artists, they need that to write about things that's going on in their life. But for you to go in and spill all their tea, I don't like that about, you doing that and then talking about somebody's drug use. That I can understand if you want to talk about your own drug use. I don't think she does that. But yeah, I hope you signed an NDA. I hope you had her sign an NDA, Travis Kelce, because if y'all break up, you don't think she gonna spill your shit all over the internet too? On her next album? So it's like when it comes to anybody, y'all gotta tread lightly when it comes to getting in a relationship with her. And I feel like she's another one that I feel like is like in the same situation like a Madonna and some of these other like these A-list or Jennifer Lopez, where y'all need to be by yourself. Y'all, it's just getting in a relationship with somebody is just not gonna work for y'all because it's just too much to deal with, y'all. Like, I don't even think her relationship with Ben Affleck is gonna last. I think he'll try to make this shit last as long as he can, but I just feel like Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck, him being with her, she's insufferable. And Taylor Swift, like I seen some people saying like, oh, I can't believe that she could be such a mean girl. I'm like, have y'all not been paying attention? Like, there's been things that she has said and done in the past that I've looked at her like, I see you got a good team that be cleaning up the mess, but she gets shady too. She ain't no innocent. So, but it's that typical white girl likes to play the victim situation. But I did cackle when she did go in on Kim Kardashian though. I mean, I was like, that was warranted. And the fact that Northwest is a Swiftie, I think that little girl hate her mother so damn much. She finds ways to dig into her. I truly feel like all the shit that Kim has done in the past, that North is her karma. And I always say that about people and their kids, that um watch what you do in life because you gonna get it back in the form of your children. And a lot of people don't believe that, but I truly do. Now, the whole thing, now I know I wanted this whole side thing, but I think that was all to just break down the things that's been going on, especially with all the stuff I've been hearing about Taylor and this album and why people have been kind of divisive about it. So it says that the new album ascends to the top spot in the UK charts this Friday on the 26th of April. Swift will match Madonna's record as the female artist with the most number one albums, according to Vegas Insider. Madonna currently has 12 number one albums in the country, while Swift has 11. Now, Swift's attempt at tying Madge's record has been hugely helped by the re-release of her albums Fearless and Speak Now, both of which did hit number one originally, but did in their re-release Taylor's version formats. However, the monumental music star has managed to bag 11 number one albums in 18 years, as opposed to Madonna's 12 albums or number ones in 40 years. Well, that's because Madonna takes her time when it comes to releasing music versus Taylor Swift, who wants to drop a new album every year or every other year. Madonna usually takes 2 to 3 years to release a record. Now, since Madam X and now, this has been a long time, sis. It's been 5 years. So you really need to get back into, once this tour is over, sis, niece, mother, Madonna, you need to get back into the studio with Max Martin and conjure up some hits. Sidebar, I meant to mention this also. Some people believe, because I don't think I finished that, they want her to leave Jack Antonoff alone and get back with Max Martin, because Max Martin gave us some bops. And like I said before, Conan Gray's new album, I don't know if y'all heard it, but Max Martin produced that, and that album is everything. I love that record. I have been having it on repeat. I told you I don't be really listening to Gen Z music like that, but a lot of there's a couple of Gen Zers out here that's really putting out quality music. And I wasn't an Olivia Rodrigo fan until I saw her when I was working at the Garden, but now I like her. And Conan Gray, he's a cutie. I think he's a member of our community. I don't want to be out the children, but I'm just saying I get that vibe. And I like a lot of what he's doing, like the synth pop, the gothic, like the rock music. And it's kind of giving me like a lot of the old school 80s type of rock synthy rock vibe that I grew up listening to and stuff as a kid. So I like a lot of what Conan's out here doing, and Max Martin produced that record. And there's a lot of bops on the record. Maybe I think out of the whole album, maybe there's 2 songs in there that I didn't particularly care for. But for the most part, it's a solid record. And I don't know what issue that she may have had with Max Martin or whatever, but I do feel like Taylor, you're at that midpoint in your life where you're in your mid-30s. You're gonna have to really switch it up. That whole childlike lyricisms and all the other things that you've been doing with your music, you're going to have to mature at some point, because you can't be doing the same thing forever and thinking you can get away with it. Because now the fans are, I think, with this album, because it's so divisive, people are looking at Taylor Swift like, okay, sis, like the hype is bigger than the music. And people are going to be onto you soon. So if you really want to be out here smashing records and breaking records and all this other stuff, you really need to bring it. Like, she has so much money from that Eras tour. You don't really need to be taking advantage of your fan base by, releasing a standard and then an album with 30 more tracks on it. So I don't get all that. But yeah. Now what else? Let me see what else it says that I need to add. They said while the 34-year-old actress is likely to match Madonna actress, I meant songstress. While the 34-year-old songstress is likely to match Madonna's record in the UK this Friday, she looks set to beat it in Australia. Both Madonna and Taylor Swift have had 12 number one albums in the country, yet Swift will almost certainly make it 13 this week. In the US, both artists' home country, Swift has already blown Madonna out of the water on the number one albums front. The anti-hero star currently has 13 number one albums, likely 14 by the end of the week, while Madonna has just 9. But you also have to think that Madonna is 65 and Taylor Swift is in her 30s. Taylor Swift has had opportunities to release more records than Madonna, because Madonna takes her time when it comes to releasing albums. She also took breaks when she went and had 2 children. So, and then also you have to realize that ageism played a lot in why Madonna's albums didn't go to number 1 in America, especially when it came to like American Life and stuff that happened later on. And then the other albums that she was releasing, like MDNA and all those records, people wasn't really feeling post Confessions era Madonna. So they're saying that she could soon become the artist with the most number one albums of all time in Ireland, breaking her tie with Bruce Springsteen, as both currently have 10 records that have ascended to the top of the charts. Well, Bruce Springsteen ain't releasing no new music. And despite the Tortured Poets Department has received staggering streaming numbers, the record has also fiercely divided critics, with some calling it an instant classic and others dubbing it underwhelming and clunky. Well, I feel like the people that's calling it instant classics are the ones that don't want to get dragged by the Swifties, because there was a story that Robert did send me over the week. He was sending me a lot of Taylor Swift stuff, where he was basically saying that they removed the name of one of the reviewers of her album, because out of fear of the Swifties threatening the writer. And I'm sitting there like, what they gonna do? Beat her with a friendship bracelet? Like, what are y'all gonna be doing out here, possibly to hurt to hurt these people that's giving constructive criticism? People get on my damn nerves. Like, if y'all like something, it's okay to like something. But if somebody wants to openly criticize, which is what critics are paid to do, like this has been going on since, before speech replaced sign language. That the fact that, you have magazines, you have newspapers, you have these publications and blogs, and then now we got the internet, because people don't physically hold newspapers and shit anymore, unless you're old school, or unless you're like somebody who loves the smell of paper, which I actually love. I love physical media, whether it's a magazine, a newspaper, a CD, a DVD, or or vinyl. And um since before speech was paid sign, like we've always had people who paid to give, critiques of people's music. And just because you're a fan of that person and you may have loved that album coming to come, even though sometimes I really feel like y'all just openly support it, but deep down in y'all souls, y'all be knowing that some of y'all faves releasing a little turd every now and again. Because even with me, like I told y'all, boy, I love Madonna. I don't think she's ever released a terrible album, but there are albums of mine that I will say are not instant faves. There are some songs on the record that I love, and then there's some albums that I'm just like, this album is trash. Like MDNA is a record that this got a couple of good songs on there, but that album is clunky and all over the place. It lacks focus. I feel the way about Hard Candy too. Like Hard Candy, I feel like the production from Pharrell and Timbaland outweigh the lyricism and the overall direction of the record. I feel like their production was just too big for Madonna, especially on what they were trying to do. It felt like Nelly Furtado's Loose was doing Madonna, and Madonna was playing cosplay version of herself through Nelly Furtado, if that makes sense. Even though a lot of the girls look at Madonna as the blueprint. It felt like Madonna was playing cosplay of herself through the younger generation that was doing her in their music. So it should be okay for people to give constructive criticism about artists that they, even if it's your fave, or you should allow people to do their job. If you like the album, that's great, but you don't have to go around bullying people or threatening to just kill them or go after their kids or whatever crazy shit that y'all be writing on social media, because I don't. I got a life. Like, I ain't got time to be up in here trolling people. I'll read stuff, I'll look, and I'll scroll on by. Or if I have any criticism about stuff, this is why I have a show. I bring it here, and I try to hit all sides of the cylinder so that way it don't come across like I'm just being like some shady ass hater. I'm just giving my opinion and trying to see all sides of the coin, which I feel like people should do. And just like, yeah, just let critics be critics. That's their job. Like, I don't understand the hate. But like I said, if you like the album, like the album. It's all right. But for the most part, everybody's saying it's clunky. But if you're a fan of the album, Tortured Dead Poet Society, whatever the hell it's called. Because every time it's a Tortured Souls Department, I don't know why I be thinking Dead Poet Society. And that's what I'm gonna just call it. Shout out to Robin Williams. Um, just let me know down in the comments what y'all think about this album. Did you like it? Was it clunky? Like the critics are saying? Do you even give a shit? Let me let me know down below. I mean,